Hello and welcome to Ohio Films. This is our spoiler-filled video talking about Shang-Chi Legends of the Ten Rings. We've already got a spoiler-free review on the channel. You can go and check that out. And then come right back here and chat to us about all the spoiler-filled nonsense we have to talk about here. We're going to talk about some Easter eggs, some references, and the post-credit scenes, of course. Jordi Steele is with me, and I'm Cameron. So what is going on here, Jordi? What have we got to talk about first?
Well, first we have the scene that everyone's going to be looking forward to from the trailers, and that is the scene in the Fight Club, with which it turns out is owned by Xialing, Shang-Chi's sister, and we get a brief glimpse of, or not a brief glimpse, but we see Abomination and Wong fighting as we do in the trailers. It's not as long as we maybe would have liked it to be. It's very much they fight and then there's like two punches thrown and then they leave. But it's cool to see, and it reveals that Abomination is still on the raft because we see Wong taking him back to the raft, and they seem sort of like buddy.
What did you think of Abomination's new look? Because he obviously has the little ear flaps. He's more fish-like this time round.
I love the new look. Yeah, I was saying I didn't really recognize much Tim Roth in him, but you did.
And the eyes and nose were giving me some Tim Roth vibes. I don't know if that was just going slightly insane, but I think there was a bit more Tim Rothy-ness to him, which I think was nice.
I need to see it again. I need to see the picture.
I don't know how much Tim Roth had to do with this Abomination though, which is like, I doubt he did any mocap or anything like that for it. So it's,
yeah, he doesn't speak or anything.
No, he doesn't speak at all. So yeah,
but yeah, and it's cool to see Wong
very
being
cool to see Wong
like a fleshed out character becoming.
Yeah.
In this scene we also see somebody who may have been an AIM experiment, or that stuff might still be out in the world, but he was all glowy and looked fiery.
Yeah. I was looking in all the tanks and that, because there was a big setup of all these different tanks of people and stuff like that doing fights, and I couldn't really see anything that was sort of Easter eggy. You'd expect there to be more Easter eggs in this section, but the main showcase of this was Abomination and also the AIM experiment. The next big revelation in this movie as well, obviously it was kind of expected since Disney added All Hail the King to Disney Plus last week in preparation. Trever Slattery returns. We find him held up in a cave prison with his new buddy Morris doing basically acting as Mandarin's court jester in a lot of ways, which was quite funny. He's an absolute gem in this movie. It's the funniest part of the movie. He kind of adds the comic relief for their journey.
Yes.
I don't know how you felt about his return or anything.
I loved it. It was a shame that we knew that he was coming, because that would have been a nice surprise. But yeah, it's cool that he's still clueless. It's cool that he didn't realize what was going on. Still in Iron Man 3.
still doesn't really
know. And he thinks the monkeys in Planets of the Apes were just acting like they could ride horses. But he's also joined by the good boy of the film, and that is Morris, which is they don't ever like give what he is a name, but he is essentially what do they call him? They call him a pig chicken.
Yes, something
and
like that.
He's headless.
So
it's just a bunch of purrs. Yeah. But he is the good boy, and he shows them how to get to where they want to go. To the Talo.
The main showcase that everyone's sort of here to sort of overanalyze for the next 6 months or so. The mid-credit scene, Wong goes and picks up at the end of the film. Wong sort of picks up the two of them, Katie and Shang-Chi, and takes them to the Sanctum. the library in the Sanctum, and analyzes the 10 rings. Who's joined by way of Zoom, I'd imagine. Carol Danvers with long hair this time, because obviously she must have not liked the mohawk anymore, and Bruce Banner, but not Hulk. Still got the sling though. So, what do we take away from this?
So it must be close to Endgame, unless his arm is just completely fucked. They're all interrogating Shang-Li and Katie about the 10 rings, because at the end of the film, Shang-Li is in possession of the 10 rings. And they don't know much about it. And neither do Wong, Carol, and Bruce. And they say that it's not in the Sanctum archives. And Carol goes on about how she doesn't recognize it as Kree or any other alien race. And Bruce is there. But Wong does reveal that they're over 1,000 years old, and also that they're sending a signal to somewhere.
Have you got any idea where that somewhere is?
I know. It could be Kunlun. I don't know. It's very strange.
Do we think they're alien?
I think they're. That's the thing with the whole stuff, all this stuff going on in MCU. Are they from another dimension? The fact that they're not from the Sanctum archives, because in this film it also deals with Ta'Lo and other worlds. It makes sense, but nobody knows, and it's very confusing, and we're gonna have to find out in a sequel, whichever sequel that may be. In the post-credit scene, we did see Xialing, who had previously gone off at the end of the film to sort of liquidize all of the 10 rings, but we find out that she is actually in fact taking over the 10 rings, having previously just owned the Fight Club and that sort of organization. They never really went into who she was in the eyes of everyone there. But she's now the 10 ring. Everything's sort of punky. The base has graffiti everywhere. And then it says the 10 rings will return. So could we be getting a 10 rings series?
That makes... What would you do with a 10 ring series? Would you not just be more of a big bad for the street level heroes, in a way? Because I doubt they'd be very...
It means Daredevil doesn't have to fight the Hand again. Moonlight's coming up.
Would they have anything to do with Moonlight? It's a global organization. They've got people everywhere, so...
They could also be in Captain America 4, if that has Sharon Carter. She could be in Madripoor dealing with the 10 rings as the power broker, possibly. But also maybe Armor Wars.
Yeah, that seems like a good point to kind of jump in at with them, because obviously they got the connection to Iron Man with the Mandarin in the comics and stuff, and that's about the suits go. Is it one about the suits going rogue? I can't remember what. No, is it? What's Armor Wars again? Someone takes the suits.
Armor Wars, the comic, I believe, is about. It's sort of. I think the comics and a what if where it's like everyone wears armor or has to wear armor because there's like a deadly virus or something. But the way they describe the series is that people get their hands on Tony Stark's technology.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that could be 10 rings.
Mm-hmm. And also, just before we kind of wrap up the timeline of this, where do you think this how many months after Endgame do you think we're talking about this then? Or years?
I'm not sure, because I'm sure because WandaVision is 5 weeks, wasn't it? I think it must, because everyone seems to be back to normal. So
they had, that's what another thing I noticed was the blip support posters. They've got helplines and stuff, and post blip anxiety and things like that. on the
Right.
maybe a year. Jink, a year sounds about right.
I think a year sounds about right. Yeah, it's the same time as Spider-Man,
Mhm.
um, Far From Home, because yeah, it's 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 Bruce with the sling that's confusing me, because
Yeah,
maybe his arm is just, maybe it's useless now,
we need to find out about that in
and
She-Hulk.
completely burnt. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did you notice anything else you'd like to tell us about? You can let us know in the comments below on Facebook or on YouTube. On YouTube, you can subscribe to us on Why Films and check out our spoiler-free review, where we give some thoughts on the movie in general. We uploaded that on Wednesday. If you want to tweet me directly, you can tweet me at CamzoOG. You can tweet Jordi at RealJordiSteel, and the entire organization OI Films on at OI Films, or visit for more on oifilms.com. Thank you for watching.